to welcome Shyamala Prayaga today to the show. She is going to be one of the Voicefluencers coming up on the Voice Den on January 27th at 5 p.m. Pacific. So I encourage you to check that out at thevoiceden.com. But this format is for us to be able to learn a little bit more about her and get a sense of all the great things that she is doing in the voice community. So without any further ado, I'd love to bring Shyamala onto the show, and our co-host for today as well. Again, Ian, hello both of you. How are you doing?
Hello, thank you so much, Teri. Thank you so much, Ian. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. It's really nice of you to take the time to chat with us today. So I'm really excited for this conversation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful. Can we just start off by having you introduce yourself a little bit to the audience and telling us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, I'm the product owner here at Ford Motor Company, and I lead the autonomous digital assistant effort. So everything to do with the use cases for autonomous vehicle, to thinking about what kind of technology should we be using, and looking at the partnerships and everything to do with digital assistant. I take care here at Ford. And then I'm also the founder of the Digital Assistant Academy. So we just recently launched our own voice interaction design training and certification. So I am also the founder there, and we just launched the Michigan chapter for Women in Voice. So I'm also the founder of that chapter. So a lot of interesting things there.
You are doing a lot. I love that. That's fantastic. I'd love to learn a little bit more. How did you get interested in voice? What's the background there?
Wow, yeah, that's a loaded question. So it was accidental. So in 2012, when I joined Amazon, there was hackathon, and I'm one of those, person who's always interested in participating in ideathons, hackathons. So the idea was to enable people to shop online in India. And back in 2012, online shopping was not even a thing. So shopping in India was a big thing. And I was looking at how we can enable, what can we do to do that. And one of the ideas was like people want to try products before buying. And especially in India, it was a lot more, because especially there are online, like there are stores and you have these trials and those kind of options. And people like to do a lot of trials and all. And online shopping does not give you that kind of opportunity. So my idea was online e-trial solution through mobile phones. And when I was designing the solution, I was like, well, if I'm trying an apparel, every time if I have to touch my phone and do something, it's very frustrating. So that's when the idea of, combining voice with augmented reality came to my mind. And the idea was like, well, I can just say I want to try the second one, and the AR system, the system would actually augment what is out there, and I can just try it out virtually. So that was the idea, and that's how my journey with voice started. And then, it continued with Amazon, where I was part of the beta testing for the dot one, the Gen 1 and Gen 2 as well. And since then, yeah, I've been working in voice technology forever. So it's been a long time, I would say.
Wow. And like I said, you do a lot. You're the founder of multiple organizations, agencies, etc. Like, I love it. I can relate. It shows how much you're committed to voice. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much we could talk about here. We could talk about, I know that you're writing a book. I know that you've got this Digital Assistant Academy. You've got this work with Ford. Where do we even start? Perhaps we can start with a little bit with the Academy. Tell us a little about the Digital Assistant Academy, and then we'll get Ian here as well to ask a question after that.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, I started my journey with Amazon, where the actual voice interaction was done. And then I used to work for a company called VoiceBox Technology after that. And VoiceBox was a ASR NLP conversational AI company, which is now acquired by Cerence. So when I was working through that, and then here at Ford, I realized like all of these companies have their own set processes. There is nothing, in common when it comes to conversation design. Someone is using Excel sheet, the other company is using Visio, and everything is all over the place. The second thing is there's limited understanding of conversation design in general, how it should be, what should be done. We have some resources out there, great resources out there, great books out there, but then not everyone is a self-learner. They cannot just learn everything by themselves, and they need some hand-holding. And the other thing I've realized is the voice will become mainstream at some point, and a piece of paper would become more important than your knowledge. Because we live in this world where we have to prove ourselves through a piece of paper, like I'm a certified XYZ. So I realized like those were some missing points because the processes are not set and the tools, technologies are not set. But I also realized that standards are missing, right? How do we design standards around ethics? How do we design standards around inclusivity? How do we design standards around privacy? So all of these things, everyone is doing their own, and I realized like there has to be some sort of standards, and for that to be in place, there has to be a curriculum in place. So any aspiring designer, any new designers, any existing designers who want to learn these are kind of things, they can do that through the academy. So that was the whole reason why the academy was started. And we also love to call setting standards in voice technology as our description for the company. So
Great, Ian. Why don't we get you in here and ask a couple questions here?
Well, for those that haven't had a chance to hear your recent podcast,
the future, if I look at the future, maybe 2 or 3 generations from now, everything will be interconnected. So I would love to say something like smart home kind of thing. We have a smart home system right now, but it's not 100% smart home. They are all individual in itself. Like there's a smart refrigerator, there is a smart TV, and then there are smart ovens. All of these things are there, and they have a different independent operating system or different technology aspect to it. At one point, there will be one assistant in the home. It could be anywhere, and it controls everything in the house. So my son, who's like, when he was 3, he started speaking with voice assistants, naturally. I never taught him this is how you should be speaking, but he was like struggling to ask something to the like search something on the TV, and all of a sudden he saw the microphone icon and he just pressed it and he started asking things. So intuitively it came to him that I have to use voice. No one taught him. So now if you look at the future generations, like 2 or 3 generations from now, they will live, breathe, eat everything voice, I would say. Like for them voice will become whole and soul. So it will be like that. But of course by then we cannot have too many competitions trying to say like, okay, I'm the best. So there has to be more coexistence. So I feel like by then it will be something like I entered the house and everything is voice enabled, and I can do whatever. My cleaning system is voice enabled, so I don't have to tell do this, do that. So I feel like it will be something which is carried throughout, not only in your house but also in your car. So your experience carries with you through your biometrics. So there's a lot of potentials which I see with voice.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, it's so fun to think to the future. I'm on the same page with you. That's why I keep saying that I'm wearing the shirt. Voice is my OS. I mean, that's how that's how I see the future. That's how I see it. So that's wonderful. Can you comment a little bit about? I know with all this experience and all this all these thoughts and your vision, I know that you're writing a book, and can you tell us a little bit about that? What that is, what it's all about, process?
Yeah, definitely. So see, I have realized one thing throughout these many years since Alexa was launched. Like I keep mentioning, when Amazon launched, it was a big shift for everyone, and everyone wanted that small pack at home, and they were trying and playing and fiddling around with it and doing all sorts of things. But if you look at the statistics and data now, you would see that although there are 100 plus skills available or 100 plus actions available, the utility is limited to 4 or 5 or maybe 10 use cases. Like people use it to play music, or they use it to do certain kind of things like navigation or things like that. But voice commerce has not picked up a lot, although some people tried and they gave up, right? So if you look at the statistics, although there are so many skills available out there or apps available out there, there are a handful which are being used on daily basis or regularly. And one of the biggest reason is, it's like I like to, give the example like when you are newlywed, you just want to spend a lot of time with your spouse, and you're like, okay, doing everything together. And then after some time, the honeymoon period is over, and you're like, okay, you don't want to spend enough time. So the relationship dulls down. It's the same thing with the voice assistants as well. So at some point, you're like, okay, I'll just shove it inside my closet because I don't want to use it. Now there are privacy issues. This assistant is now listening to all my conversations. I don't want it. I have an Alexa next to me, which is always on mute. So only when I'm testing something, I use it now. So that's the kind of relationship we have started building. But the voice assistant future is great and huge and big, right? People are betting millions and billions of dollars into this market. So until we fix certain things, we will not be able to get to that stage where we are saying that, okay, voice assistants are everything for us and they do everything. So what I realized is the emotional connection is missing. So when I say emotional connection, it's not that I'm expecting some sort of personal relationship with that assistant. I still want it to be my assistant, but when I talk about emotional connection, there are a lot of things. Uh, the biggest reason why the utility is not there is because these assistants do not understand most of the accents, or they are not empathetic or sympathetic to some of our situations, or they are not conversational in nature. They are pretty robotic, transactional. I say, what is the weather? It will just tell me the weather. So all of these are the issues which is actually making that connection between the assistant and the user dull down after a certain point of time. So my book talks about how we can make an emotional connection by humanizing the technology, by humanizing privacy, by humanizing the conversation design, by humanizing the inclusivity and things like that. So there are lots of stories from people who actually use voice assistants. We've interviewed a lot of people, and I spoke to people from different backgrounds, different countries, to understand their mindsets and everything. So it's been a fun process, but the book is going to talk about all of the different kind of things and processes and frameworks.
Wonderful, wonderful. And when's that? When do you think it's going to come out?
It's interesting. It was supposed to be launched this year, but due to delays, especially when you're writing books, there are like a lot of revisions back and forth. I almost had my book completed, but then I had to trash it down and write from the scratch because
Oh,
I realized, like, oh no, this is not working for me. So life of an author. So I'm hoping at least by 2021 I should have the book ready.
great, great. Ian, let's bring you back in here. I'm enjoying your view there. Beautiful sunshine.
Yes,
All right.
it's too beautiful not to share. I really love living here. So recently, Ford changed their mission statement or vision statement to something along the lines of to be the most admired brand. That's what I understood when I was with some of my friends from Ford about a year or so ago. How does the brand of Ford and the fact that the mission of the company is to be a world-class admired brand, how does that impact the work that you do on the autonomous voice AI that you work on and the product that you lead there?
So, see, it's all subset of all the work we do, whether it is, for the voice assistant, or whether we do it for the HMI, the infotainment system, or anything we do, eventually reflects upon the brand and the brand mission statement and values which we have, right? Including the assistant we have. So, like, I love saying this all the time: when vehicle becomes the driver, voice becomes your companion. So when you're talking about, like, voice is your companion, you are directly or indirectly reflecting to the brand of your company as well. So the assistant personality, the way it will respond back, the kind of use cases or help we give, and the level of personalization, all of those things will directly or indirectly reflect on the brand and the brand value which we have created.
Great, great. Well, boy, we've covered a lot. I'm so thankful that you're taking this time with us. I'd like to finish off with one particular question and then give you an opportunity to share how people can connect with you. But my question for you is, and I try to ask this of people that are going to be coming on the Voice Den, as you will be, and that's, as you know, people come on the Voice Den, and then we have the participants ask questions of the Voicefluencers, people like you. And so if you could sort of choose what questions you would like them to ask you, what are the areas that you feel that really are your expertise, that you could really provide a lot of value for people? What are the kind of questions that you would like to have asked? to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So definitely, one of the thing is how to become a conversational designer. If you are wanting to get into the path of conversation design, definitely I would be happy to answer any questions around that. And then if you are already in conversation design world and you want to learn about privacy or inclusive design, which is my passion, or ethical design, I would be happy to talk about that as well.
Great, wonderful. It's going to be nice having you and John Stein there. I know you're involved with the Open Voice Network as well. So there's going to be lots of opportunity to talk about that, ethical design, inclusivity, and so on. So I'm excited for that. Ian, any final thoughts before we give the opportunity to share links and so on?
I have enjoyed hearing your answers, and I feel like I learned being a part of this. And so I'm looking forward to having you participate in the Voice Den. And no, I don't want to take up more time and ask more questions, although I can probably ask an unlimited number of questions.
That's right. Well, thank you so much. Shyamala, can I get you maybe to then share with the listeners, the viewers, the audience, where can they go to learn more about the work you're doing? Where would you like them to go and look you up and otherwise connect with you?
Yeah, so LinkedIn, you can just look up Shyamala Prayaga and you'll find my profile. So I'm very active on LinkedIn and Twitter. My handle is sprayaga. So those are the places where you can find more about me. If you would like to find more about the Academy, you can go to digitalassistant.academy and learn about the course we offer and the different training programs which we have out there.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for spending some of your time here on the Voicefluencer Show with Ian and I today.
Thank you so much, Teri, and thank you, Ian. Thank you for your time. I love your view and the sunshine, although we don't have yours.
Let me show everybody the beach.
Share it as well as we have the outro music here. Please give everybody a little look. And again, we lost Ian. That's all right. I want to remind the audience that the Voice Den happens on January 27th at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific.
Sorry,
there it is. Look at that beautiful view. 5 o'clock p.m. I can't promise a view like that, but it'll be lots of fun nonetheless. See you all there, and goodbye for now.